I did a video about the theatre that we saw Back to the Future in and the accessibility there, and now I want to talk about the hotel we stayed at and how accessible that was. It's taken me a while to get around to doing this video because I've had a bit of a rough month. I lost my speech, but now obviously I've got it back, so I wanted to get this video done. We stayed at the Premier Inn in Leicester Square. We stayed there before, which is why we booked it again, because we really enjoyed our first stay, so we're happy to come back. They have two lifts when you first go in. You go up a slope to get to one, which is the disabled access lift, and then there's stairs to get to the second lift. But the disabled access lift, when we arrived, was out of order, so I waited outside and Dean, my partner, went up to reception, which is on the second floor, to ask what we were meant to do, like how would we get up to reception and then into our room. Staff member kindly came back down with Dean and showed us this, like, more of a manual lift where the stairs are, that the stairs went in and then it turned into a lift so I could get to the second lift. We've got a video of it, so I'm going to pop that in here. This was brilliant, and it's like a really good backup plan when obviously the disabled access lift is out of order. So we checked in, went to our room, and then went out for the afternoon and evening. Came back about 9 p.m. and found that both of the main lifts were out of order. Lift out of service to my hotel room. Again, Dean had to leave me, went up to reception to ask what we were meant to do, and he said that there would be somebody out within 4 hours, so that would take us to like 1 a.m. And by that point I was just really tired and fatigued. I wanted to get back to the room because we had the theatre show the next day, so I just wanted to get back and have a bit of a rest. He said that we could switch hotels, but again, I didn't really want to do that because the location was good, and again, I was tired by that point of the day. If it happened a bit earlier, then maybe would have taken that into consideration a bit more, but just switching hotels wasn't really a good option for us. Dean didn't want to leave me for much longer because obviously having FND and seizures and stuff, you never know what's going to happen when you're on your own. Well, not on your own, just at any point, but Dean didn't want to leave me on my own anymore. And the staff member said that he could always come down and help me with the chair, help Dean with the chair. But he never did come down. Quite stubborn to begin with. I said that I would bum shuffle up the stairs. So I did the first flight, and we've got a video of that actually, so I'll pop that in now.
I know you said.
Basically what Dean was about to say was he knows I didn't want to be carried, but we had 4 flights of stairs to get up, and with how tired I was, and obviously using your arms to try and get up like that with the disc protrusions in my neck, it is not a great combination. So we kind of had to give in, and then Dean, luckily Dean's strong, and he managed to carry me up the stairs, up 4 flights to get into the room. We had to leave my chair while he did that, which, it's a big, expensive bit of equipment. Didn't really like leaving it, but we didn't have much choice. But once Dean got me to the room, he then went back to get the chair. Again, it's so heavy, and he carried it up 4 flights of stairs. I really just don't know how he managed to do it. I mean, he's absolutely knackered by the end of it, but well done for him for managing it. Even an elderly couple, Dean said when he was carrying the chair up, said to him, did he need any help? And that you couldn't really ask an older couple to do anything, and I think he just wanted to carry on and get it there by that point. But the fact that an elderly couple offered and no staff actually did come to help is just surprising. Dean got back into the room. Unfortunately, I was having seizures, so then he had to deal with that. Not putting him through too much. So it wasn't the most restful and enjoyable end to our first evening in London, but at least we were back in our room. The next morning, I said to Dean that I would ring reception and ask them if the lift was working, because we didn't want him leaving me again, especially with all the seizures the night before. Just didn't particularly want him to have to go out back down to reception, which was 2 floors down, and leave me just in case. I rang for an hour and nobody answered. So in the end, Dean he just went to the lift, and luckily it was working. I knew I wanted to go and talk to reception, kind of express my feelings and feedback a bit on it, but because we had the show that day, we just decided we'd go out for brunch, go to the show, and then when we came back later in the evening, I'd go and talk to reception then, which is what I did. Explained that I wasn't complaining. I know there's not much that they can do about it, but I just wanted to give them some feedback, and mainly say that if you've got any guests at the hotel, but especially if you've got a guest in an accessible room, you should really notify them that the lifts aren't working. They had my email, they had my phone number, they could have contacted me to tell me that the lift wasn't working. He offered us a complimentary breakfast, which was all he could really do. He isn't the manager or anything. So at that point we said, okay, we'll take the complimentary breakfast, and I knew that I was gonna probably be putting a complaint in anyway, or leaving information on the feedback form. Really bugged me when I was talking to this staff member, though, was that every time he spoke, he looked over me in my chair and spoke to Dean, who was standing behind me. And Dean actually took steps back because I was the one who wanted to talk to him, but he just kept looking over me, and it just really annoyed me. I'm quite patient. I'm not an angry person, but that whole experience, not being able to use the lift, having to be carried, not being spoken to directly, I don't often feel like a disabled person. I know I live with a disability, but that particular whole experience just made me realise that I was disabled, and there was limited things I could do. And then not being spoken to directly as well just was the cherry on top. See somebody with a disability, it doesn't mean that they can't talk for themselves. You don't have to talk loudly to them. You don't have to talk to them like they're a baby. You talk to them like you would a normal person. It's as simple as that. So anyway, when we got back the following day, I did leave a complaint on the form, and I asked for the money back, basically, because it didn't ruin our trip, but obviously it put quite a downer on that particular evening, and then the evening after with the interaction with the staff member. And in response, they gave us less than a quarter of our money back, because it wasn't under the great night's sleep guaranteed thing or something like that basically if you don't get a good night's sleep, they'll give you a full refund. But because we didn't qualify for that side of it, they wouldn't give us a full refund. But less than a quarter of our money back for the trouble we went through, I wasn't particularly happy with it. So I asked them why. And then again, they came back with the whole great night's sleep guaranteed reason. So I said that's very unfortunate, and we won't be staying at your hotel again. You know, we didn't get a good night's sleep, and I was trying to contact reception for an hour, but nobody was answering. And when on their screens, when you put it on, it's like 24/7 customer care. Yeah, all right. Don't think so. I realise I'm starting to sound quite angry and sarcastic. I'm trying to keep it down now. Obviously, it did kind of rile me up then, and when I think about it now, it gets me riled up again. In the end, with the email that came back from that was that they'd give us a little bit more of our money back. So I think we got, well, just over a quarter of our money back in the end. And I thought, I'm not going to take it any further than that. I want to kind of forget about it. But unfortunately, given such a good experience we had before, and the location it's in Leicester Square is brilliant, but we won't be staying there again. In my complaint, I asked what plans would be put in place for if that happened again. You know, considering I'd given them the feedback of at least notifying people that things were out of order, but they didn't give me an answer on that, which isn't an issue, but it's just one of the things that also bugged me when I got the email back. Anyway, that was our experience with the Leicester Square Premier Inn. It was unfortunate, and as I said, it kind of really did make me realise that I have a disability, but not that I didn't realise it before. Obviously, I knew it before. It's just one of the things where you're like, you know, you're out, and people are usually now fairly accommodating in most places to make you feel as comfortable as possible. And I know, the list isn't their fault, but it was an unfortunate experience. So I bet you're glad I've got my voice back, so you could all just listen to me complain. But yeah, that was, it's done now, done and dusted. But I just wanted to make a video about it because obviously it was quite the experience for us. On a different note, the F&D stories videos that I've been doing, I want to put it out there so that I can do F&D stories for like carers and family members and friends as well. So I'm kind of working on what questions might be useful. So keep an eye out for that. And also, if you have any ideas, if you are a carer, a family member or friend, and have any thoughts on what you would have liked to have known at the beginning of it, or would still like to know now, then please do get in contact with me. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at SassyFNDLife. So let me know, and hopefully I can get some of those videos made up. Thanks for watching. Bye.